today we're delighted to have Julie Sukhareva with us. She's a realtor, and we would like to talk why she thinks that among 60,000 of other realtors in Greater Toronto area, she can actually contribute something special. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here today to share with my community, and you specifically, what I do and why I'm doing this. So I'm a realtor. I work in Toronto, North York, Richmond Hill, and Vaughan, helping people to find a place of their dream, a place of their comfort, a place that they can go home. And why I think I'm different, to answer that question, because I care about people. I care about their needs, and I listen. I let people talk. I let them express what they're looking for, because as human beings, we all are looking for satisfaction of our deeper needs. And homes are the place where we see comfort, or most of us would do. So I let them talk, I let them express their needs, and I help them to understand how to achieve it, how to get the most of their dollars, how to get a place of comfort and peace where they can go after a long day at work and have a cup of coffee, be relaxed, being who they are, being themselves. And I do that by helping them to understand what they can afford, where can they afford it, and what they can expect of themselves and of the market. So normally or usually I work with first-time home buyers as well. Husband wants something very humble and modest, and wife is thinking about beautiful rooms and spacious
And
bathrooms,
sometimes it's vice
bigger
versa.
kitchen.
Sometimes it can be vice versa.
And sometimes it's vice versa. So I invite them to my office, I let them have a coffee, tea, and we talk. And we see what they can afford, where, and we see what they can expect in terms of mortgage payments. And I talk to them honestly. I tell them the reality of the market. I tell them that sometimes they cannot afford what they're looking for.
Where do you get your leads? Who, how?
I get my leads online. I work for a company called property.ca. We are absolutely the most
So what's your
technically,
brokerage?
property.ca.
Uh-huh.
If you go online
I
to
saw it.
condos.ca,
Recently, yes.
property.ca, Mr. Loft,
Yes, yes.
we get the most visitors per month.
Right.
We have 5
Right.
million people coming to our platform looking for properties. Why? Because we run so many analytics and we make it simple.
How often do you get the leads from?
Every day. Every day.
Like a receptionist is giving you the
No,
lead that someone is just...
I open my back end,
Mm-hmm.
I log into my system,
All right.
just like everybody logs into their Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I see who registered yesterday in my area. I'll pick up the phone and I call.
How the system decides that you are the one who will get this lead?
I'll pick them up myself manually.
And if other realtor picks him up, then he's not in the system
There are
anymore,
so many
or-
people registered. So for example, there are about 700 people coming online looking for a property every single
Because
day.
I use this system from
And
the
that's
front end. I've never understood quite
Right.
how it works from the back end.
Right.
Because I leave my contact details, and the same day or next day
Yeah.
someone is calling me,
Right.
and I didn't quite realize how they
They
get...
picked you manually. So you registered, and there are 2, 5, 7 agents having 150 people who got registered. They see, amount.
And you see if another
Yeah.
agent already took someone, or
No,
it's
I
not in
don't
the
see
system
what they
anymore?
took. I see 100 people who registered yesterday,
Yeah,
and I pick 25 that I want to work with.
all right,
And
very
I-
interesting.
If I come to the office in the afternoon, I probably see the list that have been screened by other agents, and
Very good.
yeah.
Nice.
The second way I generate business is referrals,
Mm-hmm.
friends and family, sphere of influence. I do have a high level of satisfaction with people who work with me, because I really do my job. I really commit myself to the highest standard of service. And I help people to understand what they're looking for, where, and how much it's gonna cost them.
When did you get your first deal closed? Like, you started,
Yeah.
how long did it take for you to succeed?
I got my license, I was 29, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I signed my first buyer representation agreement next day,
Well,
and in a week we bought a townhouse in Barrie.
and closing was in a couple of...
And closing was in 3 months.
So you didn't have this period of frustration, maybe
No,
it
no.
will never work out for
No,
me, and
no. I knew what I wanted. I knew why I wanted it. And I kind of had a sense of myself, why I'm going to be good at this job. So, yeah, it came very naturally. It came very naturally for me. I didn't have to struggle with door knocking. I don't mind doing that, and I love face-to-face interaction.
Mhm.
But I kind of knew a few people who are looking to buy, and they kind of had a trust and in confidence in my work ethic. So it was a very natural.
But
Decision
obviously
for us.
sometimes you get frustrated, right?
Yes, of course.
Because anybody gets
Yeah.
frustrated
Yeah.
once in a while. So
That comes
where
from
do you,
unmet expectations, right?
yeah, that's
So
right.
people
So
change
how do
their
you
mind.
find, they change their mind, where do you find the strength?
Right.
How do you calm yourself down? How you, for
Right.
example, you worked very hard
Yeah.
and all of a sudden all your efforts just,
Yeah, that happens too, and that's okay. That's part of the business. People change their minds and they have rights too. My job is to communicate clearly why this purchase is a good decision for them, how much money they're gonna make in the long run, and what it's gonna do for them. And if they are skeptical or they have self-doubt, it's their choice. But I wanna stress and point out that fear and self-doubt is very expensive.
mhm.
There are simple analytics, there's simple history. Let's say Toronto. How old is Toronto? Do you know?
Yeah,
How old?
it's about 300, 400 years.
Well, Montreal was incorporated into a city in 1601. Toronto is a newborn city. We exist
why
as a
we are
community of
Upper
120 years.
It-
Yes, but
it-
we're not 300 years old. We're literally about 120 years old. 30 years ago, there was nothing above steels.
That's right,
Vaughan was incorporated in 1891,
that's right.
27 years ago. It had 150,000 people.
That's why we're called Upper Canada.
That's right. That's
I
right.
couldn't understand why we are Upper Canada. Obviously, they started to explore, starting from Montreal,
Yeah. Yeah.
and moving
Yeah.
upwards
Right.
through St.
Right.
Lawrence.
St.
right?
Lawrence River,
Yeah.
in our way here.
And we are Upper.
But
yeah.
history have changed.
Yeah.
Montreal is not a capital anymore. Toronto is a world
So do you
class
enjoy the
city.
history of Toronto?
Of course I do. Of
Did
course
you
I do.
learn all those, why those Spadina is called Spadina, and where we got all those names of the streets?
No, I'm
It's
I'm
very
looking forward
exciting.
to.
Oh,
Really?
go ahead. It's very exciting history. I don't remember why, but when
Okay.
I read it, I really enjoyed it.
Really? I have to research that. I'll be excited
One of
to
the
learn.
streets got its name from a British politician that have never been to Canada, but he was a friend of the governor. I don't remember
Wow.
which one, but
Wow.
one of them
Right.
that
right,
we
right.
use every day, daily. We use the
Right.
names of those streets.
It's very interesting. It's a very
Absolutely.
interesting history to know. But I guess my point is that we are a newborn world-class city, and real estate is developing as booming, it's growing, and it will continue to do so. Vaughan, where I resigned, was 150,000 people. Now we have 360,000 people, and it's continued to grow. We just had subway extension. Governments are expecting more people to come, and therefore their infrastructure is also accommodating for that. So my point is, real estate today is expensive, but it's still affordable. So for those people who wait, it's expensive today, but tomorrow is going to be unattainable. So you better act on your investment properties, on your pre-construction projects, on your upsizing. If you want to move from condo, it's a good idea to sell it by detached right now, when it was the other way around 2 years ago. Now it's a good idea to do that. Do it today. Do not wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be more money. So today is expensive.
You're so
tomorrow
fond
I
of
can
real
move.
estate. Do you invest yourself?
I do, of course I do. I speak from my experience, and I speak from my own practice. I was a big advocate of Highway 7 in Jane. It's still an industrial area, and I've talked to every friend of mine 2 years back, a few years ago, saying, buy a condo Highway 7 in Jane. It's going to be a big development there. It's going to be one metropolitan center. Sabbath is going to be there. You're going to double your money, you're going to triple your money if you do that. Well, people need to see before they can act on it. And if you do not have a vision, you pay for somebody who sees it early on in the game and invests early. So I bought a condo myself, of course. I bought it very cheaply.
As an investment?
As
or?
an investment. And now that Subway has been...
Do you rent it out?
It's under construction.
Ah.
It's under construction. What you do, you buy pre-construction
Like
early on, wait for 2-3 years.
And then you have an option of assignment?
I have an option. This particular property does. You have to look individually for every condominium, and you have to read the fine print and stuff.
Very interesting. And I believe that it's good also because you actually don't need a mortgage right now until they actually give
You're absolutely right. For those people who today have $30,000, it's
down
not
payment.
enough to buy a condo.
Yeah.
It's less than 10%. But you can buy a pre-construction project. I have one today in Wilson and Allen Road. It's going to be completed 2021. It's right.
Wilson Allen Road, it's very central position.
It's right on the subway station.
Absolutely.
It's right 2 minutes from the subway station, and I have a meeting there in an hour with
And
friends
it's
of
close
mine.
to Yorkdale and
York
Downs,
University,
yeah.
Dunsview Park, 24 minutes from Union Station.
Yeah, very good.
And it's priced accordingly, but still there are good cushion to make some money in 3 years.
Very, very interesting.
Very good project. I would highly recommend you look at it yourself closely if you're looking to. But that's a good
But
opportunity.
do you actually have to be approved with the mortgage to do this? Or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, but yeah. For this particular project, yes. But I can help
But
you
in
with that.
theory, you can actually buy something,
Yeah.
pay the down payment, and then sell it as assignment, and not
Yes.
to take mortgage at all.
Correct. So for now, you would have to have a piece of paper just saying that you are in a
Pre-approved.
position to pre-approve.
Because in 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
things can change. People can.
Yeah, and they will, as the city grows,
Yeah.
as newcomers are coming, as people sell their, baby boomers, they sell their homes, they're looking for a condo option. That drives the demand up, the price up. Immigrants coming, prices up. And stress tests, you cannot
I
afford
do
more
believe
property.
that the main driving force
Yeah.
is the immigration.
Yes, it is.
We still
Yeah.
get about
That's true.
100,000
That's true.
people coming to Toronto
Absolutely
every year.
right. Absolutely right. So now, if you put the dots together, young city, growing. We're not 400 or 500 years old. We're just 120 years old. There are still so many things developing.
It's not quite
Immigration.
right. It's a little bit longer.
It's a little long, but nothing was happening back in the day. Nothing was happening back in the day.
That
That's
officially it existed.
yes, small community.
I was at the
settles.
cemetery where I saw dates way longer than
What I'm saying?
way older.
I'm referring to business establishment,
Yeah.
to where the Toronto have become a world-class city, or
Mhm.
an investor
Oh
started
yeah,
looking at us.
absolutely, yes.
Before, no, surely,
No,
Ontario
120 years
existed,
ago
but-
they were handing the lands to people who wants to immigrate.
Exactly.
200
They-
acres to
yeah.
the family and
They had
100
to
for
attract them.
free.
Yeah.
100 acres to individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today, listen, if I would have that farm and you would have that farmland, we wouldn't
Yeah.
be talking here today.
That's right.
It was incredible investment. So connecting those dots, immigration, city being developed, infrastructure coming to a city. We have Eglinton, Crosstown, 25 subway stations coming up in 2021. So Midtown, Uptown, North, Vaughan Metropolitan
Yeah,
Center.
yeah.
Government is ready for immigrants, and the city is growing, and the price will continue to go up.
I do believe.
So
I do
long
believe
term.
that Toronto is one of the capitals of the world, and if
Yes, definitely.
we compare the prices to New York or London,
Yeah,
we are still
Milan.
in kindergarten.
That's true. You're absolutely right. This is exactly what I compare Toronto to. Milan, New York, Moscow. We still have that cushion where, the value is not maxed out yet.
I
And
agree.
it will continue to
And
go
also
up.
taking into account this positive inflow of the immigrants that is actually guaranteeing that
Yes.
100,000 people will need some kind of
Yes,
accommodation.
yes,
It's very, very specific to this place.
right,
Because if you compare with other northern American cities,
Right.
you don't have this guarantee of
Right.
inflow of people.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. It was very interesting to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.